Right, so we're with Vanja from New Generation Ski School. They're a fantastic partner that we work with for ski lessons, particularly with children. But what we're going to talk about now is to give some tips and recommendations to families skiing with their kids, but not in a ski lesson. So things that we might recommend to them to make sure they get the most out of their ski holiday. So Vanja, one of the first things that we were thinking about was sort of having realistic expectations. So probably varies a bit by the age and the experience of the child, but realistic expectations. What would our advice be for parents there?
So when you're skiing as a family, it's really important that you don't do too much with the kids. Let's say you're coming on the holidays, you're all week here, you have all week of skiing in front of you. Let's try to do little by little every day. So don't do too much too early.
And I think two specific points that we were talking about earlier was one, particularly after, like if they have, say, ski school or a lesson in the morning, try to sort of limit expectations after lunch. I know with my kids, I think it's the same for most, they're really keen to do more, but it's like, got energy, dead.
Exactly.
The crash point, they don't see it coming, but it's important. You don't want to end up on a difficult slope when they've tanked. So keep it moderate there, I suppose, is quite important.
Definitely, yeah.
And then the other point you raised was about what happens if you try and take them on terrain that's maybe too difficult.
Yeah. So let's say if you have kids in ski lessons in the morning and then you want to do something in the afternoon with them, it's worth to speak with their instructor. So get information, what they did in the lesson, where they were skiing, what kind of runs did they do, and try to do the same thing with them. And just, you will see how it goes.
Yeah, because if you try and take them on runs, say they've been practicing their technique on a blue run, they might be able to ski down a red run, but then if they revert back to, maybe they've been practicing their parallel turns and they have to revert back to a snow plough, their weight balance changes, like you're saying, that can actually put them back. And then when they come back to the lesson the next day, they've almost unlearned, they've almost reset themselves, which is kind of it's counterproductive to what they're trying to learn.
What they're trying to learn, exactly. So you want to avoid that.
Yeah. So maybe get some tips from the instructor on what they've been working on, and then try and continue that, build that into the plan.
Definitely.
Cool. The next thing that we were thinking about earlier was about planning routes as well and trying not to get caught out, particularly towards the end of the day.
Yeah. So the weather, in the morning the snow conditions can be a little bit different than in the afternoon. So you have to be aware of that. So let's say one run in the morning is going to be nice and smooth. What doesn't mean that in the afternoon is going to be the same. So you don't want to get caught in a really steep, in a really mogully run with your child.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, try to plan the routes, which one you're going to cover in the afternoon and which one is there appropriate.
And maybe don't push it either.
Yeah.
I mean, I something we nearly always do. My kids are always like, I want to ski all the way. I want to ski down the mountain, Daddy. And we're quite often, to be honest, we get the lift down, because it's not that I'm pretty confident in their ability to ski down, but usually those last runs at the end of the day, they're so busy, and maybe there's other people on those runs who are struggling, and I'm always a bit nervous as a parent about keeping them safe. So quite often it's not even because of their ability, but it's a concern of there are other factors in that environment that I know I can't control, so I want to avoid that. So we'll do our last run up here usually, get the lift down and just take the stress out of the situation.
Yeah. Which is actually quite good, yeah.
In terms of maybe for slightly older kids, as they're skiing a bit, they're starting to ski more independently. What other things can they do? What other things should we be teaching them in terms of orientation, for example?
So about orientation and safety. So orientation-wise, give them a map in the hands. Let's try to figure it out. Where are they on the slope? Which route they're gonna take? On what kind of route are they? it's good, it's handy, and it's good for them to learn.
It's good for the skiing, but it's also actually quite good general map and
Yeah,
life skills as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
And from the safety point of view, safety is really important. When you ski with your kids, you want that your kids are safe. So it's worth to teach them where is appropriate to stop on the slope, which areas, what is dangerous, how to control the speed, how to avoid other people, and so on.
We went past a couple of groups earlier, and there's I think most people are obviously familiar with normal piste markers, but there's lots of other signs, aren't there, on the slopes for like particularly false edges where it might suddenly drop away, or there might be other cliffs or reservoirs. There's lots of reservoirs under the snow. There's signs for all these things on the slopes. A lot of the time people just ski straight past them and ignore them.
Yeah.
I always think as your kids are getting a bit older, it's worth making sure you point some of these things out.
Yeah.
We also both had some interesting experiences with, I suppose, groups or kids, but maybe they're ours, maybe they're other people's, ducking off the side of the piece, but then also
jumping back on.
Yeah,
that can be really dangerous.
Yeah.
Really dangerous.
Good fun as long as you can see and it's controlled, but I think got to teach them to be aware of that, because I see so many, they come back on, it's basically blind, and they've got this pot luck as whether they land or hit someone.
Yeah.
So awareness of that I think is really important.
Yeah.
Have fun, but keep it controlled, keep it safe, both for them and other people.
And look where you're going. Look where you're going. Look around
before you start.
Exactly. That the piste is empty, that it's not so many people. It's better to wait a little bit, that people are going away, and then you start.
Cool.
It's more fun too.
Realistic expectations, bit of route planning.
Yeah.
Look around, some safety. Hopefully those are all good tips that are going to help you have fun with your kids and stay safe on the mountain.